Please excuse my ratchetness. You know, the hair is looking kind of crazy, but I just don't feel like doing nothing with it, so we just gonna rock the curly afro for now. Pretty soon, I'm not gonna be looking at ratchet. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. What is up, you guys? It's Mama Ak back with another video. And lately, I've been doing the sibling tag videos, but this time, I'm gonna do a little story time. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm pretty sure you're wondering like, what? Let's just hop on right into this good old story time, okay? For the sake of this video, I'm not gonna use people's names and I'm not gonna say the name of my job, but if you know me, then you know where I worked at, and we just gonna leave it at that. It was my junior year of college. I was working at this sandwich shop. I had already been working there since like my freshman year, like right before my freshman year of college. I was a manager there. As a manager, part of your responsibility is you're supposed to like slice meat or whatever for the next day. This particular day, before I went into work, I was already like upset, irritated about some stuff that had happened before work. So when I got to work, I was annoyed because there was always this other manager. We just gonna name her Sarah. She didn't like me and I didn't really care for her. The thing was, she never did her job. If one manager don't do their job, you know, it kind of falls back on you to pick up the slack. And I wasn't that type of I wasn't that type of manager. I'm gonna do my job, and before you leave, I'm gonna make sure you do your job, or it's not gonna get done. I'm not doing somebody else's job. Like, no, you knew what you're supposed to do, and that's all it is to it. But she didn't like the fact that I used to tell her, yo, this ain't, you know, you didn't do this. You need to clean that. Like, you need to clean the slicer. She ended up leaving before I even got there. So by the time I got there, the slicer was dirty. So at this point, now I'm annoyed and I'm cleaning the slicer. Sometimes meat would get stuck on it and you would kind of have to run the blade and kind of like use your fingernail to kind of like scrape some of the meat off of there. Some meat was harder to clean off than others. I'm cleaning the slicer, you know, I'm scraping da-da-da. There's supposed to be a guard on it to where on this top part so you can't cut yourself. Well, on this particular part, there wasn't a guard. In our shop, we didn't have a guard on the slicer. When I was cleaning it, not even paying attention to what I'm doing, I literally am like, I'm doing this. I guess I forgot to like push the button in to turn it off, and I'm doing it like this, and then next thing you know, I felt it, and instantly I stopped and instantly held my finger because I knew exactly what I just did. There was only one other person there with me. So I'm like, yo, I just sliced my finger. And she like, what? I said, yeah, I just sliced my finger. So the first thing I did was I went over to the sink, because you know, usually they say when you cut your finger, not like that, but when you cut your finger, you're supposed to like run it underwater. I didn't know how bad it was at this point. I hadn't looked at it because I'm holding it like this. As soon as I put my fingers under the water, it hurt so bad that I snatched my hand. I was like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I told the girl that was there with me, I'm like, yo, call my mama. Call her right now. No sooner I heard my mom's voice and she told my mom what happened, I bust out crying. Like, I was cool the whole time up until I heard my mom's voice. She goes, what happened? And I go, Mama! I'm back on it now. It was very funny. But like, at that moment, I was very much serious, very much like, oh my God, what just happened? My mom had just dropped me off too. That was the funny thing. My mom had literally just dropped me off. I hadn't been at work for more than like 10 minutes and already she was gonna have to come back and come get me. After that, my coworker called the police. They came up there. I'm freaking out. My mom told me to put my hand, before she got off the phone, my mom told me to put my hand in a bucket of ice. When the ambulance came, literally it made me so mad because they was like, calm down, it's okay, it's okay. And I just like sliced my finger. What do you mean I'm okay? Like, what? He wraps it up. Okay, disclaimer, it's gonna look very nasty. All of the pictures that I'm gonna put in here, it's gonna look very nasty. So if you are squeamish of blood and all that good stuff, then you probably wanna skip past these parts. I'll put something in the corner to basically let you know like to skip forward. These are the pieces of my finger after when I was on my way to the hospital. It took them forever to even do anything with me. Like, they literally just, they grabbed some napkins, grabbed some surgical tape, and just like wrapped my fingers. Then they were trying to get me into the ambulance, but at the time I was broke, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had no insurance, you know what I'm saying? I was broke. So they was like, you want to ride in the ambulance? I'm like, no, because I know automatically like that's a nice amount of money just riding in the ambulance. My mom got there, she rushed in, came to find me. They was telling her like, slow down, back up, back up. She like, no, like my daughter just cut her fingers. Like, what y'all talking about? Like, I don't know what was wrong with them. They was being real weird. She ended up driving me to the hospital. And when I say y'all, I waited there for so long. First thing they had me do was pee in a cup to see if I was under the influence of anything, you know, for workers compensation. I wasn't under the influence because anybody who knows me, you know, I don't do anything. So it was kind of like, what? After they made me take the pee test, they ended up taking the wrapping off of my fingers to see how bad it was. And I was super freaking out. So 2 of my fingers had got cut. I thought it was just the 1 finger, but it was 2 of them. After that, they had me wait in a whole different room, and it took them forever. I'm literally sitting there, fingers are throbbing, I have the hugest headache, I'm feeling so much pain because I just sliced my finger. And I literally sat there for about a good 45 minutes to an hour waiting for somebody to come work on my hand. No medicine or anything. So when the doctor finally comes in and starts working on my hand, she's literally like, she grabbed my hand and she starts like poking around in the edges of where the cut are. And I'm like, I can feel all of that. And she's like, they didn't give you any medicine? I said, no, they gave me nothing. And they were like, give her some medicine. But she's still like poking around in the womb. And in my head, I'm just like, I'm about to punch this lady. My mom's boyfriend at the time was there with us, and he literally was like silently laughing. He was just like, don't do it, Tay, don't do it. Because he automatically, I was fin to hurt this lady. Because she was just touching on my finger, and I'm like, it's not numb yet. I can feel everything. I have no medicine. Once they finally gave me some medicine and they kind of numbed my finger, they was like, okay, she was doing what she was gonna do. I could still feel her prodding around, but I felt no pain. But it made me mad because she was just like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna last a minute. It's gonna be numb for a while, so just relax, you're gonna be fine. It didn't even last like more than 2 or 3 minutes, and I literally started feeling the pain once again, and it pissed me off. Okay, so first I get no medicine. Now when I finally get numbing medicine for this finger so I don't feel anything, she's saying it's gonna last for at least like an hour, and it didn't even last that long. Like, she got the covering on it. This is what the covering looked like on it. I couldn't work for a while. I could not work for a while. I was out of work. And given the fact I was literally paying for my tuition, like they had me paying like $2,000 to $3,000 each semester. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother story time. So if you want to hear that story, let me know in the comments. The medicine that they gave me to help with the pain would literally instantly put me to sleep. I couldn't even go to class for a while because at the time I was taking the bus to school. I had to take the medicine in the morning and at night. My mom was always afraid that I was gonna fall asleep on the bus and end up in some completely different area to where I was, and she had work herself, so she really couldn't drop me off. So for a while I just had to be online for a second. I couldn't write, and this is my dominant hand. I could not write at all. So it was better for me to be on my laptop, on my computer, doing it that way. When it got to a point where I was able to actually go to school, I still couldn't write, but I told my teacher, I was like, yeah, can I like record the lecture and then like do it that way? Like, is that okay? Because I can't take notes. And he was like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, my teachers were very understanding of my situation and what was going on. But my job at the time was not understanding of what was going on with my finger. They really didn't want to pay me. They didn't want to give me anything. They literally were just like, yeah, no, you can work. How? I work at a sandwich shop and I work with my hands. Like, on top of the fact that I couldn't even go to school for a while because I literally was taking medicine that put me to sleep. So what makes you think I'm going to be able to stand up for several hours? What makes you think I'm going to be able to make sandwiches at that? I was literally going to sleep, in and out of sleep, because of the medicine they had me on. I ended up getting a really good lawyer, and they prolonged this whole thing of trying to pay me. That part aside, I had to always go to these checkups for them, like check on my finger and make sure it was okay. When it finally got time for the wrappings and everything to come off my fingers, again, I was ready to punch the doctor. It was like stuck to my finger. Like, I forgot what they used. The wrapping on this finger was super easy. It didn't take anything to take it off. But when it came to this middle finger, because there was so, like, I literally, the whole, as you saw from the pictures, the whole backside of my finger was like gone. Like, my whole fingertip was finito, like done for. This lady could not get it off, so she literally made me soak my fingers in water And so when it finally came time to take it off, it was stuck. It was still stuck. She ripped it off. So she literally counted, made me breathe, and ripped it off. My mom's boyfriend at the time, he came with me because my mom couldn't be there. So he came with me, and literally he was like, don't hit the tank, don't hit. No sooner she ripped it off, she walked out of the room, and I was just like, it was so painful. I wrapped my finger again, and they told me I had to basically clean it every day until it got better. When it got time to clean it, which was the hardest part ever, it hurt so bad because it was like open nerves, open wound, like it really hurt so bad. As it started healing and everything, I think that's what it was called. I think that actually made me go to a physical therapist. I wanted to see if the feeling in my finger would come back. And to this day, I still can't feel the feeling. Like, I know that I'm touching it so I can feel it, but had like somebody just like touched it, I can't feel it. Literally, I still don't have any feeling in that part of my finger. And I don't know if it'll show, but I'll probably take a picture of it and put it up there just so you guys can see like how it healed and everything. Now it's just scar tissue, and yeah, my job really wasn't trying to pay me I never really got paid workman's comp. Like, I didn't get nothing for not being able to work. When I got my lawyer, they ended up having to pay for the hospital bills, and I ended up basically getting $5,000 for this finger. And because I had to pay tuition and everything, I just went ahead and put most of it towards my tuition, and whatever else I had left, I just used it to take care of whatever bills I had. So that was pretty much how that whole thing worked out. So if you ever cut your finger at your job, I'm saying, just know you can get about a good $5,000 for your fingers. I got a good lawyer. If you need them, hit me up. I got you. I can get you a really good lawyer for workman's comp. Okay. I remember somebody telling me after I cut my finger, they were like, "You could rob a bank right now," and I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, because your fingerprint is like gone." But I don't know how true that is. But either way it goes, that's pretty illegal, and you'll never catch me out here robbing banks. So yeah, if I'm out here robbing banks, whew, Jesus. So yeah, that is it for this story time today. I think I'm gonna do a couple more story times, and then I put a pause on the sibling tags for a while just because there's a particular thing I'm trying to do for the next 2 of them. So once everything is in preparations, I can finish up the sibling tags. But I think the next video I'm gonna do is probably gonna be a story time. If you would rather me post the sibling tag, let me know in the comments below. Or if you would rather me do another story time, put it in the comments below. Trust me, I got lots of stories. Lots of them. Okay? Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to this channel, you know? So yeah, I will see you all in the next video. You're ugly. What is up, you guys? I forgot my whole intro. And like literally it was, looking back on it, it was funny.